Starting off giving all glory and praises to Yahweh by Shem, Shai, by Shem, Kakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. GMS, salutations to the Akims and the Akos, the brothers and a few sisters. Just pushing the truth day by day, every day. To the best of your ability, it's the brother Yashar coming in from the camp, Children of Light, with another segment, chapter, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12. Now, this chapter was a continuation from chapter 10 and 11, a continuation of taking it back to the Old Testament when the Most High saved his people out of Egypt from Pharaoh in captivity. At the same time, judged the Egyptians and the other nations that was coming against us for their wicked deeds. So we're going to get into that, chapter 12. And without further ado, let's get into it. I'll be bringing up a couple different precepts and do a few different pictures and things of that nature to go along with the lesson. Verse 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. Therefore, chasteneth thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance wherein they have offended, that leaving their wickedness, they may believe on thee, O Lord. Now, the ones that, when it says, wherein they have offended, okay, it's going back to the plagues of Egypt. Remember, the Egyptians was getting hit with the plagues. Israel, we wasn't getting hit with them plagues. They was, Why? Because they offended the Most High with their actions. And we're going to, it's going to actually get into that. Into specifically what they were doing. Verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, the Hamites. And when it says, for it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers, because when you go back into like Numbers, Exodus, First Kings, Second Kings, the Old Testament, First Samuel, Second Samuel, Most High would actually, like for instance, Numbers chapter 27, or it was 26 to 27, Moses was commanded by the Most High to go back and take our promised land that we lost. And he told Moses to take 1,000 men from each of the 12 tribes. Okay, so that's 12,000 men. Go get y'all land back. So that was the Most High giving the prophets that power. Well, not just the prophets, but that was the Most High commanding Israel through the prophets and giving them that physical and spiritual, mental power to go and carry out his will. Okay. Because the Most High is like a game of chess. He ain't got us. He can move the chess pieces however he want to move them. He can move kings against kings, queens against queens, pawns against a pawn could take out a king. However the Most High wants it done. Verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land. Okay, and that was talking about from the Hamites. That's who he was going against. Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices. We know that's where all the Hamites and Cushites, them Africans, that's where all that witchcraft shit originated from. All right. And then you had the Levitical priests, the Levites. Guess what? They started getting into that shit too. Because the Levites are really the most spiritual Israelites on the planet. Because why? They are the priests, okay? That was the chosen tribe to be the priest of Israel. That's why they had to deal with the Most High directly. The Most High dealt with Israel directly through the Levites. And that's spiritual because Moses was what? He was a Levite, and he was the first king of Israel because he was the first one to have authority over the nation of Israel as a whole, being guided by the Most High Yahweh. So that's where, like even the word zombie is, it comes from the Levite. I know the elder Tahar was bringing this out. Zombie, and I'm not going to look it up right now. But just off top, I know that zombie comes from the word Levite. Not come from the word Levi. Zombie is a Haitian word going into the witchcraft, the voodoo, you being under a spell, you know, motherfucker. You walk when the motherfucker wants you to walk, talk when somebody wants you to talk, like how they got the voodoo dolls. So, you know, that all that shit originates from these other nations. Come on now. The Most High Yahweh never commanded our people to, you know, witchcraft. He said, you should suffer not a wish to live. Okay. So, anyways, verse 4, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh in the feast of blood. Right, because these Hamites, that they was into child sacrifice and they was also into cannibalism. What were the first African religions, we'll say? Okay, let's see. Let's do this. Where did witchcraft originate? Ancient Mesopotamian Greece? No, we know this. We know, hell no. Come on now. They talking about some Esau going off. He talking about some witchcraft originating in Mesopotamia and Greece. Dude, bro, go look at them Hamites. They was here way before the Greeks and the Mesopotamians. Did witchcraft originate in Africa? Yeah, whatever. Well, the scripture, indigenous witchcraft practices exist throughout Africa before European colonization. Right, so fuck what Esau talking about. We know the facts. Because I was really just trying to get some different pictures. You know, here we go. I just should have went to the images. They look like, you know, I don't know what the hell, it's blurry. Here we go. It look like some Edomites though. Let's do this. I'm gonna get back to the lesson in a little bit, but I just want to get a couple visuals. Damn, phone going slow. See that? Magic in ancient Egypt was a natural phenomenon, an integral part of religion. Healing, to harness the power of the healing god Horus, protecting, communicating with the gods. See that? That was all from ancient Egypt. See that? Way before the Babylonian Empire. Come on now, and the Greek empires and all that. Way before that. So I don't know what Esau talking about. See that? Darkness, you know? Look at that. It's confusion. You know what I'm saying? These all go back to Egypt. Alright? Let's continue. Now that we got a visual of the type of gods and shit that they was worshiping, let's read on. Verse 6. With their priest out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. That the land, Egypt, that the land which thou esteemest above all other might receive a worthy colony of God's children. Right. That's why we had to drive these other nations out of the land so we could take it. Because the reason the reason that region, which is known as the Fertile Crescent, the reason it says in verse 7 that it was esteemed above all other, because if you go look, the Fertile Crescent, Egypt, yep. Okay. This is what it was going on. You had vegetation, I'm gonna get a better picture. Look at that. Come on now. You can raise your cattle there. You can build civilizations there and communities. You got all the vegetation. Where there's vegetation, there's water. This is why it's called the Fertile Crescent, you know? You got the mountains, so if you ever need to, you can go run to the mountains. You can see your enemies coming, and this is what it looks like. You know, Fertile Crescent, Jericho, Mesopotamia, to the north, Persian Gulf. All right, look at that. You surrounded all by water. Mediterranean to the west, the Red Sea to the southwest, Persian Gulf to the east. You know, so you got all the resources in that land. That's why everybody was fighting over that land. But let's get a precept real quick. Leviticus 20 and 24. That's why our enemies was coming up against our ass. Like, nah, man, we gotta get these people gone. They blessed, you know. They God blessed them. Leviticus 20 and 24, it says, I'll say 23. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. So that's just representation for many resources, many natural resources. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people. Okay. And that's what we just saw. We just saw that natural resource, the land of many natural resources. So back, chapter 12, verse 8. Nevertheless, even those thou sparest as men, and didst send wasps, forerunners of thine host, to destroy them by little and little. Not that thou wast unable to bring the ungodly under the hand of the righteous in battle, or to destroy them at once with cruel beasts, or with one rough word, but executing thy judgments upon them by little and little, thou gavest them place of repentance, not being ignorant that they were a naughty generation, and that their malice was bred in them, and that their cogitation would never be changed. So the Most High ain't even talking about Israel right here. He talking about the Egyptians. He's saying, I gave y'all a chance to stop doing what y'all was doing, basically to stop bullying my chosen nation, and y'all didn't do it. I hit y'all with the first plague, the second plague, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, all the way to 10. And it took 10 plagues for y'all ass to finally say, you know what, let's stop with the bullshit and let's go ahead, even though this ain't our God, you know, this is the creator, so let's go ahead and stop playing like we just cool with being plagued every fucking year and shit. No, we don't want that no more. So they had to turn it around. Now, when it says by verse 10, but executing judgments upon them little by little, so let's go to that precept, Ecclesiastes. It's either Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Okay, yep, here we go. It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. And you see that nowadays with like different TV shows. They might like I was just watching New Jack City last night, and they was like, man, why don't you just arrest Nino, right? Like, man, just arrest him, man. Just no. It was like, man, can't we just arrest Nino in a drug bust or catch him, you know, set him up? And Ice-T was like, nah, like this gonna have to be a little process, you know. And with the Most High the same way, he might let you go do 3 or 4 or 5 different crimes, you know what I'm saying, and let you do that because you know, for one, you just playing the role as a you know, is righteous in the world and it's unrighteous. Everybody got their role to play. So yeah, he might want you to go, you know, rob somebody and go steal something and do all this because, you know, you just feeling your part of being an unrighteous person on this world. But then he'll say, all right, you know, that's enough. Let me go ahead and have this motherfucker thrown into prison, you know, or let me go ahead and have this motherfucker go try to break in somebody's house and they shoot him, you know. That all judgment comes from the Lord. Verse 10. So yeah, once again, it's like Esau. Hey, We can't wait to get the kingdom and to be beating the shit, beating Esau down, these other nations. But Esau right now, he's still in power. And we can't do nothing about it just except for keep moving to this truth. So that means the wicked are not, their judgment's not executed little by little. Because if it was, oh yeah, we'd already be in the kingdom and then everything would be good. But that's not how it's set up. Everything is a process. Now we'll see back at chapter 12, verse, where we at? Verse 11. For it was a cursed seed from the beginning. Neither didst thou, for fear of any man, give them pardon for those things wherein they sin. For who shall say, what hast thou done? Or who shall withstand thy judgment? Or who shall accuse thee for the nations that perish, whom thou hast made? Or who shall come to stand against thee to be revenged for the unrighteous men? So once again, the Most High, Yahweh, controls everything. And man don't come against that. Man stays in his place. Verse 13, for neither is there any God but thou that careth for all, to whom thou mightest show that thy judgment is not unright. And in the time of Egypt, they had over 6,000 gods. We just read about one of them. Who is it? Horeb. Egyptians, they had over 6,000 gods in their time. You can look that up. Let's prove it. So if you worship over 6,000 gods, but there's only one true God, then somebody's doing something wrong. Did ancient Egypt have? Well, it says 1,500, 2,000, but I read somewhere it says 6,000. But either way it goes, it's only one God. It don't matter if it's 10,000, 5, 2,000, 3,000, 200. It's only one true God. The Most High Yahweh. Let's see, verse 14. Neither shall king or tyrant be able to set his face against thee for any whom thou hast punished. Right, that's why even these certain Edomites, they'll tell you, the only reason we able to take people into slavery and take over the world and do all this and that is because God let us do it. And they actually tell you it's going to be a time, we already know, that God is going to stop us from doing it and he going to start taking over, So these, at least they know what's up. Verse 15. For so much then as thou art righteous thyself, thou orderest all things righteously, thinking it not agreeable with thy power to condemn him that have not deserved to be punished. For thy power is the beginning of righteousness, and because thou art the Lord of all, it maketh thee to be gracious unto all. For whom, verse 17, for whom men will not believe that thou art of a full power, thou showest thy strength, and among them that know it, thou makest their boldness manifest. Now when it says thou showest thy strength, and among them that know it, that's speaking on us in his truth, thou makest their boldness manifest. Right. That's why in the book of, Jeremiah, I will make thy face bold against them. It was either Jeremiah or, Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 8. It says, I'll start at verse 5. But thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not too many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou cannot understand. Surely I had sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. Right, so the word, the Bible was only for Israel, 12 tribes. If you ain't one of them, you ain't getting blessed. Verse 7, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me, For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-headed. And that's Jake nowadays. Jake always ready to catch an attitude, snap on somebody, fight, shoot, be loud. Verse 8. Now this is going to this is the prophets. This is what the Lord said he would do to the prophets. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, so against the 2/3, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Right. So think about the highways and byways. If you ever been on the highways and byways, or just in life in general, but I'm gonna use the highways and byways. You got the garment on, you got the sign up, you preach, you got the Bible and the apocrypha in your hand. So to the average person, they might see you as he just one of them religious dudes, and they might see you as a joke, they might see you as a laughing stock, whatever. And then they walk up and talk to you, and why you using that power, you know what I'm saying? You exalting the word, you crying aloud, you sparing not. You basically coming in the spirit of Yahushua, because Yahushua was an austere man, meaning he wasn't going for shit, and it tells you that he talked with authority. So he was gonna get his point across, no matter if you liked it or not, and he was gonna say what he wanted to say, and you ain't have no choice but to say, damn, he talking with authority, and what he's saying do sound correct. Dang, I think I need to listen to him, because that's what Jake is all about. Jake all want to be all tough and this and that until you start breaking their ass down with the scriptures, and then that's when they humble up. Okay, so that's why we don't give a fuck about looking how you niggas look, how you niggas feel, or none of that. I don't give a fuck, nigga, if you 225 pounds, 6'3", 6'4", nigga, guess what? I'm gonna tell your ass, nigga, it's against the goddamn law to eat pork, nigga. And I'm gonna tell your ass it's against the goddamn law to be adulterous. And I'm gonna tell you an Israelite, if you don't like it, keep fucking walking. But that's the spirit. This is like the spirit I'm in right now. That's the whole point of being bold against these people. Because you have to be bold-faced talking to Israel, man. The black woman don't know when to shut her damn mouth. The Latina woman is learning after the black woman here in America. Waxing worse and worse. The black man just think he fucking invincible and untouchable, even though he ain't gonna talk that shit and do that shit to Esau, motherfucker. But you want to do it to your own people. That's why we come. That's why us prophets don't give y'all the time of the day when y'all on nigga shit. And that's another reason that we just gonna continue to cut you with these scriptures. And guess what? If you don't like it, fuck you. That's the spirit we coming in. So I just had to get that off real quick. If you offended, this ain't for you. Let's continue. Verse 18. Back in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8. But thou, mastering thy power, judgest with equity, and orderest us with great favor, for thou mayest use power when thou wilt. Right. Because once again, the Lord controls all. Everything goes back to his will. But by such works hast thou taught thy people that the just man should be merciful, and thou hast made thy children to be of a good hope, that thou givest repentance for sins. For if thou didst punish the enemies of thy children, and the condemned to death, and with such deliberation, giving them time and place whereby they might be delivered from their malice. Okay, and that's speaking on wait, let me see. Yeah, they're speaking on the first Passover, the Egyptians, when they was hearing them, the first Passover, you know the story. The death angel came through and took everybody out that wasn't Israel. Verse 21, with how great circumspection didst thou judge thy own sons, unto whose fathers thou hast sworn and made a covenant of good promises, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Therefore, whereas thou dost chasten us, thou scourgest our enemies 1,000 times more, to the intent that when we judge, we should carefully think of thy goodness, and we ourselves are judged, we should look for mercy. Wherefore, whereas men have lived dissolutely and unrighteously, thou hast tormented them with their own abominations. That's why it's not good to live out here unrighteously. The Lord will torment your ass. That's why in 1 Timothy, it tells you, I think it's 1 Timothy 2 and 15, it tells you a woman that lives in pleasure is dead while she lives. Motherfuckers out here being tormented by these demons and these spirits, and you think everything you see a woman on social media is living a life. Man, she turned that phone off, bro. Get off that camera. She being tormented by demons and spirits and all and bills and all these things, man. So, just focus on living righteous. So you ain't gotta be tormented like that. Cause fighting demons and battling demons, which we do anyways, we have to do anyways, cause we in this wicked world. But man, it's not a good feeling having to fight multiple demons and mental breakdowns and all that. Nah, that's not a good feeling. I have to deal with that, and I'll be like, man, let me just go ahead and Psalms 119:9. Shit, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his ways by taking heed thereto according unto thy word. Okay. Let's see, verse 23. Wherefore, whereas men have lived dissolutely and unrighteously, thou hast tormented them with their own abominations. For when they went astray very far in the ways of error, and held them for gods, which even among the beasts of their enemies were despised, being deceived as children of no understanding, therefore unto them as to children without the use of reason, thou didst send a judgment to mock them. But they that will not be reformed by that correction, wherein he dallied with them, shall feel a judgment worthy of God. For look, for what things they grudged when they were punished, that is, for them when they were, so like a double reading. Verse 27, last verse. For look, for what things they grudged when they were punished, that is, for them whom they thought to be gods, now being punished in them, when they saw it, they acknowledged him to be the true God, whom before they denied to know, and therefore came extreme damnation upon them. So yeah. So it's speaking on the heathens. The Most High had to check the heathens, you know what I'm saying? They telling themselves, oh, we gonna worship our guys and do what I do. That's like you walking down the street and you say, man, I'm finna get home and I ain't let nothing stop me from getting home. But then you turn around, there's 3 coyotes behind you. You like, I ain't even gonna worry about them coyotes. I'm getting home. And they keep creeping up on you. You like, man, I ain't even worried about them. And then they attack you. Now you worried about them. That's what the Egyptians, how they was treating the Most High Yahweh. Man, we ain't worried about him. And, his people talking about they're chosen people and they got the living God. And we finna worship Horeb. And your ass got hit with them plagues and them damn, the first Passover, the death angel and them strange creatures you was seeing and all them damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Them apparitions and howling and shit. Then they had to straighten up. Then they had to exalt the Most High himself. They had to tell themselves, yep, you know what? Let's go ahead and just do what this man is saying, because it's not looking too good for us. But once again, man, may have been a lot. I know it's about 30 minutes. I definitely went on a little rant there. But at the end of the day, it's beautiful to learn about our history, being able to understand where we came from, our ancestors, the building blocks basically of Israel, how everything was going down, and how we got into where we are today, and in the future, how we gonna enter into the kingdom, so definitely hope you was edified. Shalom.